Hey folks, welcome to the Paul Harold program. Thanks so much for being with us. So what is going on in Mobile, Alabama? We have this disturbing story where divers were doing a routine check of the dam there, and they find an IED, an improvised explosive device, ready to wreak havoc, cause chaos. And in my conspiratorial mind, I can't help but ask the question, how many more of these little crises in a glass case are there scattered throughout America? We've already seen oil refineries catch fire. We haven't really covered on this program, but a string of oil refineries have caught fire. Facilities, production facilities, not just here in America and along that Gulf Coast oil corridor, but also overseas in Russia and everywhere else. What exactly does this mean? So that's where we're going to start the conversation today. We also have new developments from the whistleblower testimony, the fallout from that yesterday. CIA whistleblower before the committee there. This idea that the CIA raided the offices of the Director of National Intelligence, now that story being walked back. But we're just going to go listen to what the whistleblower said. And also Brianna Morello has some clarity on that the CIA did in fact take back documents having to do with JFK and MK Ultra, but it was not a raid, if you will. So we're going to get into that, figure out where all that is here on the show today. It is Thursday. Happy Thursday to everybody out there. The Paul Harold program starts right now.
The Paul Harold program.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We are broadcasting live from the state of Arkansas here on LFTV at our new time slot an hour earlier. You've got us for the next 2 hours. It is now 3:04 Central Time here in the state of Arkansas on what some people around here refer to as God's time zone. But, sorry to our Mountain Time, West Coast, East Coast audiences. I've got Eric Haynes with us. Rob is here, but he is in the parking lot finishing up a phone call. So Rob is going to come barreling in here at any moment. But Eric, how you doing, sir?
So good to be part of the conversation.
Yes, sir.
Great to see you, sir.
Absolutely great to see you as well. So let's get into it. We have this story. It's like it's not really getting much coverage, actually.
This is the first I've heard about it.
The first you heard of it.
Just a minute ago.
Yeah, you guys didn't know what the lead story was, but this is, the local affiliates are reporting on it. It's just now it's getting on some conservative media sites. But this is called Big Lake down there in Mobile or Mobile. Headline: Explosive device found, then it was detonated at Mobile Water Reservoir. This is from the Fox affiliate. Multi-agency team safely removed grenade-type IED discovered by divers at Converse Reservoir Dam. The Gulf Coast Regional Maritime Response and Render Safe Team retrieved and detonated an improvised explosive device found underwater at the Converse Reservoir Dam. Divers surveying the dam for routine repairs and maintenance located the grenade-type IED, and then they alerted the Mobile County Sheriff's Office, which coordinated the multi-agency response for analysis retrieval. They say here, our top priority is to keep your drinking water safe. This is an unprecedented threat, and we are fortunate that this device was discovered before it could cause serious damage to our water supply or harm to individuals. We are grateful for the professionalism and competency of our law enforcement partners, as well as the quick thinking of our contractors and divers in identifying this device and safely destroying it. So the first thing that comes to mind here, Eric, is when I first saw the story, I'm thinking, okay, well, it would be a destroy the dam, flood the surrounding area. It's a big lake. I've got it pulled up on a map. It's pretty huge. Cause some sort of mass casualty event here. And I don't know if that's necessarily the case here, because what they're saying is it would just contaminate the water supply, or it would, make it be very difficult to continue giving people the water they need. So it would create a massive water shortage or something. I don't know. I think it could probably be both of those things. But it just got me thinking, how many of these hidden IEDs or hidden, and I call them like crisis in a glass case. That I first came up with that phrase back when, the Benghazi raid happened. The Benghazi thing happened. I know where they tried to blame it on a video, and then it was later found out that this video was just known to the administration, and they had it in case they ever needed to, use it to, they tried to blame the Iraq uprising on the video, and then the Benghazi uprising on this video, and it was clear they just had this in a glass case, like in case of emergency, in case of distraction, break open glass. I think what we're seeing now here, at least this is my fear, is that we have situations like this all over the country potentially, where it's like ready to go, these crises or dare I say false flags ready to go to create chaos when it is needed. I don't know who decides when it's needed, but the fact that this thing was there, I want to know. My first question, I guess, would be, how long has it been there? And that may be impossible to tell.
And who put it there? That was my first question.
Yeah. Okay,
who
that's
put that there?
That's probably much better. Rob Spencer, welcome to the show, sir. Thanks for being with us. You're now on Candid Camera.
I'm just so glad to be part of the land of the living here. So sorry about that. I had to finish up a phone call. Crazy stuff. So anyway, and gosh, I feel like we're here a little sooner than normal.
We're just not the normal time slot.
Yeah. So glad to be on. If you're not a normal viewer of us because of the time slot, we're glad to have you. And so just, I don't know if you've kind of gone through the dynamics of it, but Paul is Arkansas radio for 15 years and, journalist for 15 years, but very much involved in Arkansas radio. And Eric is in the medical field. I'm in the real estate field. Eric is usually the voice of reason, and I am the hothead who's mad all the time about something.
The wild card.
Yeah, the wild card. So it's like, what is Rob mad about today? What I get most angry about is like trans stuff and transing our children and all of that jazz. But anyway, glad to be here, part of it.
I'm not the voice of reason as it relates to transing our children, by the way.
No,
I agree 100% with Rob on that.
Yeah.
And I will get myself fired up in a hurry about that.
Oh, I can't stand it. I can't.
Voice of reason doesn't mean that you're a libtard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify that buffer statement right there.
So anyway, I mean, there's a great clip just in that vein here, not to derail, but Brandon Gill talking about, he's like, I can't even say this with a straight face. Brandon Gill, who's normally just deadpan when he delivers stuff, he's incredible. But he was just like, I can't say this with a straight face, right? I can't say this without laughing. And he was talking about the transing stuff. So anyway, glad to be here.
On this story, though, maybe one of the reasons it's not, garnered national attention, they did detonate this thing. And I do have a video of the detonation. This is from the local NBC Alabama affiliate. Routine dam dive turns up grenade-style IED lurking under the reservoir. Here is the detonation. Let's see here. Eventually.
Right, 3, 2, 1.
So, I mean, is that just some tannerite?
I thought you'd be bigger. Oh, Patrick Swayze, God rest his soul.
I just went, meh.
Yeah.
Well, so that's
was-
the thing. Maybe that's why it's kind of like, meh. But at the same time, I have no idea. It seems like it's not nothing. If the base
Listen,
of a dam could that? I don't know what the infrastructure is like. Was it? Do they build these things to withstand that kind of underwater explosion?
I feel like I've seen duck hunting buddies of mine do more damage to a beaver dam than that that video right
I think
there.
I've seen a 20 ounce plastic Coke bottle with a piece of dry ice and water in it.
Or
with the lid.
Mentos.
Yeah, or Mentos in it do more damage. However, like if that was in a minefield or in a in a battlefield in the desert or something like that, and a military person walked and engaged it, like you're talking about, limbs are blown off if you're not killed anyway. So I'm not trying to minimize the thing behind that, but I don't know if this is anything to get all worked up and at arms about.
Well,
So-
and
Rob's the voice of reason right there. Did you
the
hear,
voice
did
of
you hear
reason,
that?
yeah.
Shocking. Shocking.
How dare you? Yeah.
goes-
Shocking.
He goes, well, this isn't anything to get fired up about.
I made the whole
Yeah,
thumbnail over
it's
this.
yeah. It's,
I made the whole thumbnail out of this.
Well-
we made that just the lead topic of the show. I need
well,
you
you
to be,
failed. Bad Moon's right. That's it. It was more of like a firecracker, an M80. I mean,
so
honestly,
could it just be a bunch of
Yeah.
teenagers that are like,
Yeah.
let's
be.
put this at the base of the dam?
could be. I don't know. And
I expected that chicken or that dog with the poop coming out of the back to finish off after
Maybe
that
it
little
does-
firecracker there.
listen, maybe it does more damage in the water. I don't know. Have we seen that?
I don't know. This was the local affiliate report on it here.
A grenade-type explosive device was found underwater at Big Creek Lake, the primary drinking water supply for the Mobile area. The Mobile area water and sewer system, MA, is saying divers found this improvised explosive device while surveying the lake's dam for routine repairs. A multi-agency bomb squad team, including the FBI, Mobile County Sheriff's Office, and state law enforcement, retrieved and safely destroyed it, as you just saw. MA says the drinking water supply was not affected. Big Creek Lake is federally designated critical infrastructure, and Homeland Security has been notified. We're trying to find out where the IED came from, if it's been there for some time, or if investigators think it was placed there. A grenade-type explosive.
How does this local reporter sound like he's artificial intelligence? It sounds like he's an AI voice. I don't think he is, but wouldn't it be funny if journalism schools, broadcasting schools were now trying to teach people to sound like a computer?
Yeah.
But here's the lake, if you see it there on your screen. I mean, this is Big Creek Lake, again, right outside of, I guess, to the west of Mobile there. It's a big lake. Look at that. I mean, it's a giant. I mean, that's why
it's
they've
huge, yeah.
designated it critical infrastructure. So,
Well, I think I've seen 10-year-olds with firecrackers that are, cause more than that. But it could potentially do something.
yeah, well.
I'm just trying to make you feel better.
No,
Paul.
yeah, I think, make me feel bad. This is
Somebody got a hold of one of
this
those
is a
anarchist
huge
cookbooks
national
from
security
the,
threat. That's what this is.
from the local gun show there in Alabama. They got one of those cookbook things and decided to have a little bit of fun.
I remember the old anarchist cookbook. That was back in the
Remember that?
Wild West days of the
Yeah.
internet. If you had one of those, you were real edgy,
Yeah.
real edgy. All right, so I want to get into the fallout from yesterday's show, or yesterday's big CIA whistleblower. You weren't here for that, Rob.
Yeah.
Yesterday's CIA whistleblower. Well, you listened to it on the COVID situation.
I listened to
right?
a lot of it. Yeah, I tried to get most of the show while I was driving. But.
Okay, so kind of the thing that we said was the lead that was buried was the part of where the whistleblower said, "Hey, the CIA came in and took 40 boxes back from DNI Tulsi Gabbard." Now somehow that statement then got reported that the CIA raided the DNI office, and Jesse Waters even has now deleted a tweet he did, posting the segment on how the CIA raided the DNI office. So they're now
there was.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it wasn't even a community. Well, there was community notes added to it, but
To the Jesse Waters thing?
yes, but then the DNI secretary or whatever her name
Yeah.
was, she responded like this
They
did not
denied
happen.
it. They denied it. Yeah. So we don't really know. Let's focus on the CIA spokesperson. Just about the hearing first. Let's go here first. So
Sorry, hey Paul, Bad Moon, who's great in the comments. We blew up beaver dams with half sticks of TNT you bought from the hardware store.
wow.
Yeah,
Back in the day, you could just walk into any hardware store and buy TNT.
listen,
That's fantastic.
I'm not trying to downplay a bomb.
This is
I'm
American.
just like,
This is
look,
American.
this is something that needs to be looked in. You led the show with it, all that stuff. I'm not trying to downplay that, but and in the same vein, like we've got to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know, and-
my question is, in the conspiratorial aspect of it, we'll tie a bow around it. I just think if you look at our infrastructure, you look at the fact that, we're at war, whether you want to call what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz, the Strait of Thermopylae, a war at this point or whatever. I know people want to debate that, but just in general, just this, how many food plants caught fire in the Biden administration? What about the Francis Scott Key Bridge that they're blaming on this Indian company, blaming negligence? But at the time it happened, I was just like,
that was the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That giant long bridge where the ship. It just looked it to me. It always looked intentional, and so you wonder if there's a lot of this unconventional warfare where the government doesn't want to tell you it's terrorism. What about all these oil refineries? I actually pulled this. I pulled this real quick. We'll get to this here in a minute. What we were just talking about. But I pulled
Iranian commandos.
Let's see here.
Sorry, I shouldn't make fun of that.
Well, I actually don't have it, but I did have it pulled up. All of the different oil refineries that have been catching fire recently, not only here but also in Russia.
Yeah.
So it just kind of makes you wonder, what's actually going on in the country or what could be going on. And so you just think again, crisis in a glass case.
Mm-hmm.
How much of our power grid is at stake? Are there hidden explosives other places? Is immediately where I went, and I don't think that's unreasonable to be suspicious at this point.
And there's many people that believe that COVID-19 was crisis in a glass case caused by the deep state, who was blaming this on China and all of that. And of course, I can see both sides of that coin too. China, whose economy has not been doing really well with Donald Trump as president, certainly in the first term or not in the second term. Could they have caused this because Donald Trump was well on his way to re-election in 2020? The economy was booming prior to COVID-19 hitting, and so you wonder, hey, to your point, was that crisis in a glass case? We've seen it, man. Nancy Pelosi, gave the playbook in a press conference all those years ago, just about hey, you just get somebody to report on this, and then all of a sudden it's saying this is being reported and all of that. But this is actually causing some sort of panic, and that's why I look when this was it Hanta virus stuff crap. I'm like, wait a minute,
it'll get you, it'll haunt you. It's the Hanta virus.
So, I was like, okay, well, is it because
it's gonna get you?
Is it gonna get? Is it because we're in election year and we're going to see all this crap? I don't know. I don't trust
like it.
It's just all of it is spawned from the fact that we don't trust the government. Anybody that trusts the government's a moron, in my opinion. And number two, it's just all these seeds of doubt are planted because of the long history of the fact. Okay, we can go recent history, but the CIA killed John F. Kennedy, the sitting president. Okay, anybody want to deny that? Do you want to have an honest discussion at any time and say the CIA didn't kill John F. Kennedy? Okay, I mean, I don't think you can have an intelligent conversation and just totally
literally
deny
the
that.
Allegation from yesterday is that there were more JFK files that the CIA says they've released everything. But there are more JFK files that Tulsi Gabbard have. The allegation is they took those back along with MK Ultra. So, to your point, Rob,
what is it? And so when you're saying okay, well then why are we taking these files back? Why are we taking these files? What are you trying to hide? Mm-hmm. What are you trying to hide? And that's what spawned all of these seeds of doubt.
Well, what was obvious yesterday? Well, the implication of yesterday's testimony is, who's really in charge of a government?
Yeah.
That's the implication.
Yeah.
This is Liz Lyons. Liz Lyons is the CIA spokesperson.
Mm-hmm.
She says about the hearings yesterday, the committee acted in bad faith by subpoenaing an agency officer for testimony today without notifying CIA. I'm pretty sure that needs to just be the status quo. Don't notify the CIA about anything. Look, I know John Ratcliffe is supposed to be, well, he's not like the other CIA directors, but just like the FBI, these agencies are rotten to the core with career communists.
Sure.
Okay? And it just seems like, if you want to fix it, abolish those agencies, create a new one, or at a bare minimum, fire everyone, relatively speaking. She says, though, despite having already obtained closed-door testimony from the individual previously, the witness testifying today is not appearing as a whistleblower in pursuit of the truth, but instead in response to the subpoena issued by Chairman Paul. This proceeding amounts to nothing more than dishonest political theater masquerading as a congressional hearing, as the CIA has already assessed COVID-19 most likely originated from a lab leak, and efforts to undermine that conclusion are disingenuous. So what they're saying is that the revelations yesterday of him saying the CIA didn't want to say it came from a lab, Anthony Fauci, this is a statement from the CIA trying to protect Anthony Fauci. I don't see how you could say it any other way, because Fauci was the one that was being criticized yesterday. Yeah. But here's the thing. I don't know if this is exactly true from the CIA. This proceeding amounts to nothing more than dishonest political theater masquerade as congressional hearing, as the CIA has already assessed COVID-19 most likely originated from the lab. But here is this clip from, what is this actually? This is from April 18th. So the CIA Director John Ratcliffe on April 18th of 2023 testified to the House Oversight Committee about the coronavirus pandemic or plandemic, and this is what he said.
My informed assessment, as a person with as much access as anyone to our government's intelligence during the initial year of the pandemic, has been and continues to be that a lab leak is the only explanation credibly supported by our intelligence, by science, and by common sense. From a view inside the IC, if our intelligence and evidence supporting a lab leak theory was placed side by side with our intelligence and evidence pointing to a natural origins or spillover theory, the lab leak side of the ledger would be long, convincing, even overwhelming, while the spillover side would be nearly empty and tenuous. Were this a trial, a preponderance of circumstantial evidence provided by our intelligence would compel a jury finding of guilt to an accusation that coronavirus research in the Wuhan labs was responsible for the pandemic, and likewise, the Chinese Communist Party would be guilty of going to great lengths to cover up the virus's origins, from destroying medical tests, samples, and data, to intimidating and disappearing witnesses and journalists, to lying and coercing global health authorities, even spreading propaganda that the virus originated here in the United States by the U.S. military. And the Chinese government has done all of this while proving itself incapable of...
Now, hang on, let's stop right there, because we talked about that.
That's a mouthful.
We talked about that yesterday, though, that the Chinese, their response was, okay, so here's the deal about the lab leak with Fauci, because there's a lot of different moving pieces here.
Yeah.
And the idea that there could be a red herring, right? Finally admitting that it is a Chinese lab leak could very much be what is called a limited hangout, right? Where it just stops there and we blame China and everything else.
Yeah.
But with Fauci involved and the U.S. government essentially funding the research, there are many more questions about who is actually responsible. So to just say, well, it was a lab leak, yeah, but it's all China's fault, is like, well, hang on. The whole Fauci component, though, changes the questions entirely, as we said, as we talked about yesterday.
Highest paid member of government in the United States, and causing... Let's just... Does anybody believe that Fauci is not responsible, directly responsible? Does anybody actually have that? You can say it with a straight face, and you don't have the libtard after your title here. No, of course not. We want to blame everybody. Want to blame. I think all of this stuff is what has led to what I was saying earlier. It's led to an intense distrust. Because what if was it hantavirus? What if that is actually a legitimate concern? Is anybody going to believe it?
No. If it was an actual threat, none of us, we would all now be in a position to not take it seriously and potentially get wiped out because of it.
I think all Republicans and all independents are going to look at it with an intense amount of scrutiny.
We have to listen to the rest of this clip, though. Do you know why? Because later on in the testimony, I guess we could just read it, and you guys can take our word for it. But this is the quote from Ratcliffe in that hearing, because it's a 4-minute clip. To this day, the CIA has continued to state that it does not have enough information to make any formal assessment. To put it bluntly, I think this is unjustifiable and a reflection, not that the agency cannot make an assessment with any confidence, but that it won't. Some 3.5 years later, the only plausible assessment the agency could make with any level of confidence is that a virus, which killed over 1 million Americans, originated in a Chinese lab whose research included work for the Chinese military. And such an assessment would obviously have enormous geopolitical implications that I believe the current administration does not want to face head on. Ivan Raikkonen then saying here, the whistleblower is doing exactly what Ratcliffe asked for at the end of his testimony. Listen to the end. Do you guys want to listen to it? I kind of want to listen to it.
Sure.
Offering even a shred of exculpatory evidence. The intelligence community's sources on this issue are numerous, diverse, and unassailable, and I hope that the recent unanimous congressional support to require the declassification of our COVID origins material will make some of this available to you and the American people. Right now, a few of the intelligence community's agencies are publicly assessing that COVID-19 virus originated from a lab leak in Wuhan, and as this shift continues, the day will come when every single agency in the IC will make the same assessment, which begs the question, why have they not to this point? The challenges that I and other senior Trump administration officials encountered while in office included legitimate concerns about illegitimate roadblocks that related to professional conflicts of interest and partisan politics. These included the headwinds created when a lab leak assessment was initially labeled falsely and falsely reported with near unanimity as a conspiracy theory by conflicted scientists and by mainstream press, while also being censored as disinformation by social media giants. Internally, national and electoral politics were also influencing the analysis of our intelligence on China within the IC, as reflected in the January 6, 2021 report by the intelligence community's analytic ombudsman. As a career non-political official, the ombudsman found, quote, analysts appeared reluctant to have their analysis on China brought forward because they tend to disagree with the Trump administration's policies, saying, in effect, I don't want our intelligence used to support those policies, end quote. To this day, the CIA has continued to state that it does not have enough information to make any formal assessment. To put it bluntly, I think this is unjustifiable and a reflection not that the agency can't make an assessment with any confidence, but that it won't. Some 3.5 years later, the only plausible assessment the agency could make with any level of confidence is that a virus which killed over 1 million Americans originated in a Chinese lab whose research included work for the Chinese military. And such an assessment would obviously have enormous geopolitical implications that I believe the current administration does not want to face head on. Let me close by saying that I think that the search for the truth should drive where we go from here, and everyone, from our intelligence agencies to members of the administration to members of Congress to public health officials, should put politics aside and let our intelligence speak the truth about what happened. Speak the truth to the Americans who deserve that truth, deserve justice, and deserve accountability. And only by seeking truth, justice, and accountability for this pandemic can we achieve the other equally important goal of preventing the next pandemic.
All right, so again, that was Ratcliffe in 2023. This is when Biden was in office. So at this point, he's testifying to the House Oversight Committee as the former head of the Director of National Intelligence. That's the position he occupied in Trump 1.0. Okay?
Yeah.
So just to be clear, this doesn't necessarily contradict what Liz Lyons is saying now, that the CIA has already said, hey, this came from a lab. Again, it's my contention that it not only came from a lab, but it wasn't just exclusively developed at that lab in China. I think you have to look at Ralph Barrick. You have to look at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. There are a lot of legs to this. But you know what? You don't have to go there. Anthony Fauci funding the EcoHealth Alliance, doing the gain-of-function research. It's connected to the U.S. government. I understand why the current administration, or forces within the administration wants to distance that fact. But the idea that this isn't connected to the U.S. government, the intel oligarchs doing this not only to our country but to the rest of the world. I mean, there's clear ties there. Mm-hmm. I think it wasn't just China doing this. I'm not saying China is innocent. I'm not saying there weren't people in China that wanted Donald Trump to lose the 2020 election. I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that governments are not monolithic, and that there are forces in governments that are at war with one another. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, we saw that. We saw that earlier this week with the O'Keefe undercover media reports here.
Yes.
Where we've got these bad actors.
Never laughed so hard on the show ever, by the way.
Oh, yeah. And we were attacked in the comments on one of our platforms and from this douchebag who's got a karate uniform on. It's just the most beta thing I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, so I just want to nail down one thing that Ratcliffe was testifying there, that the intelligence community feared Donald Trump's policies. I don't know that he said foreign policy, but but that would be the only logical thing.
Yeah.
Is that they feared Donald Trump's policies, therefore they withheld intelligence. Because is he saying that their intelligence said, "Hey, China did this, but we had a hand in it"? Is that ultimately what he's trying to say?
You think that's what Ratcliffe is trying to say? That
I don't
know. I don't think so. Again, I think that they. I think I think there's a move to want to blame it with a lot of people on. Let's just blame it all on China, because if you do that, it absolves the U.S. intelligence community from having any at all. And the fact is that the whistleblower testified yesterday that the intel community was listening to Fauci.
And remember the first story. We talked about this yesterday. I pulled up the pictures from my phone from exactly 6 years ago. The first story was that it was from the Chinese bat market.
Yeah.
And all these, the street vendors that cook bats. That's where they said it originally came from. No, they didn't give the truth and say, well, we may have had a leak at one of our facilities where we turned this bug and gave it steroids and put, little skinny Captain America into the chamber, and he came out totally juiced up, and then that is actually what leaked and wreaked havoc
they
on
wanted
the
us
world.
to think it was natural. It was like, like Mr. Garrison, like, well, here's this fish frog or something, like
these bats in a cave. They just we started eating them, then they started having their thing.
That sounds more like Tim Burchett again.
It was so good.
It was so good. But let me say this. The China thing made sense to me. It made sense to me because China was really suffering in Trump 1.0, and I thought, okay, China sending a virus out to the world made sense because you got to wreck Donald Trump's momentum. You got to get a Democrat back in charge. So I bought into that, But then when you've got Fauci going before Congress and lying multiple times saying that he did not give this gain of function funding, and then and his wife is on the board of, was it Pfizer? What is his wife on the board of?
I believe Fauci's wife was on the board of the company that made money off of distributing remdesivir, which shut down the kidneys of countless COVID patients and resulted in their deaths.
Yeah. Special place in hell for you if that's what you have as your sort of hang your hat on.
And I want to add the study that Fauci used in the midst of the crisis to recommend remdesivir was a study done on treating Ebola. And in that study, they were treating Ebola with several different drugs. One of them was remdesivir.
Yep.
After 3 to 6 months, they had to quit using remdesivir because it was killing people who had Ebola. So that study, where they had to stop using the drug mid trial, was what he used to tell America and hospitals and hospital administrators, give them remdesivir.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear.
Jon Stewart, who I disagree with on just about everything, had a pretty epic, sort of comparison here when he went on Colbert. This was right after the pandemic here, or I guess maybe still in the pandemic or at least coming out of it. And he's just like, so there was a lab in Wuhan.
I remember this.
Yeah, that was on this was on a Colbert show.
Yeah,
and Colbert was uncomfortable.
He didn't want to hear it.
It
He
was
was trying
awkward.
to shut him down.
Yep, I remember that.
And he was just like, so a coronavirus, mutation came out of a lab that specializes in coronavirus mutation. and we want to say that it's this bad at this market, and he's like it's like saying that there's a pandemic of chocolatey goodness, and it's emanating from Hershey, Pennsylvania. And you're like, could it be the Hershey plant that's in? No, it's bats, And again, I disagree with Jon Stewart on just about everything, but man, that was pretty epic, and he was going to get that out. Say what you want about Jon Stewart. He believes what he believes, and that's what he believes. Stephen Colbert is a shill, in my opinion, and that's why he's lost his thing. But it just pissed me off so much because he was trying to shut him. He's like, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute. He's like trying to do it with a smile on his face or whatever. It's like he didn't want to hear it. But Jon Stewart was going to get it out. And it just goes to show the ridiculousness of it. Now, Fauci funding that's a whole other ballgame.
It is. It doesn't just stop at we can blame China and it did come from a
Correct.
lab. It's much deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's much deeper than that. Now, let's get to this. Let's get to this part where there's kind of this raid. There was CIA raided the DNI's office, which would be a huge story. It was a huge story last night. It would be a huge story because these are two executive agencies that would be fundamentally raiding each other. It would be a big problem.
And if you're DNI, if you're the raid happening, I'm more inclined to believe that it didn't happen for the simple fact that, like, wait a minute, you're an intelligence agency, and you're going to raid the office of the director of director of national intelligence. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, well, the whistleblower didn't say there was a raid. That's just the thing. Like the whistleblower said one thing. He said they took the boxes back. It didn't say there was a raid. Okay, that implies like SWAT teams and like.
Please quit saying raid, because all I can think about is Django Unchained when they're doing the raid wearing the white hoodies.
I've never watched that movie.
You've never seen Django, or
if the N word bothers you, don't watch that movie.
Oh no, it doesn't bother Eric at all.
But he's like. That is not true, Paul. Don't put that out there in the stratosphere.
I'm sorry. I know.
But anyway, but he's like, this is a raid. I can't. All right. Anyway.
Okay. So
DiCaprio says that.
Anna Paulina Luna. Paulina Luna writes, I am noticing a large accounts stating falsely that I claimed there was a raid on Tulsi Gabbard's office by the CIA. This is completely false. There is no clip or statement that exists. Why is there an orchestrated push with this narrative? Not one account can post a clip of me saying that. Because it never happened. When Congress is notified of conflicting narratives from different agencies, i.e. the CIA or ODNI, it is our job to follow through and ensure documents are preserved and not destroyed. This is not an issue with Ratcliffe or Gabbard. For people to act like the CIA doesn't have a history of destroying documents is bizarro world. Now, this is true. I will say it's true in the fact that you can't trust the CIA. It doesn't matter if John Ratcliffe was an angel, like a literal angel. It wouldn't matter because there's so many career people beneath him that are evil people, okay, that don't want, that run the country, if not the world. So that's something to think about there. So she posted a clip of herself, but here's the deal. Here we're going to talk about Brianna Morello's reporting on this. So she says Jesse Waters has deleted his post accusing the CIA of raiding DNI. So the headline seems to have come from Jesse Waters' show, where I think
Benny Johnson, did Benny Johnson say something about that too?
I think he picked it up as well.
Okay, but Jesse Waters I think did interview Paulina Luna.
Okay.
I think. I didn't see the clip because it's now deleted. Gabbard's team denied those claims immediately after the post started going viral yesterday. The original post received 2.6 million views. Waters has not posted a statement clarifying. Now, I don't know if he has. He may have at this point. This was posted early this morning at 7:30. Let's actually listen to what this guy said, okay? This is a minute clip. We're going to actually listen to what the whistleblower said. He did not use the word raid.
CIA did not comply with lawful oversight during the Diggs investigation. The behavior significantly impacted Director Gabbard's implementation of several EOs issued during this administration and tasked to the DIG. The CIA refused to provide information necessary to understand why analytical standards at the CIA were violated. The CIA illegally monitored the computer and phone usage of DIG personnel, their investigations, and contact with.
Let's stop. That's a huge story. This is the CIA monitoring Tulsi Gabbard in the Trump administration. Okay, so let's not, for the CIA to come out and say this was political theater. Wait a second. Your whistleblower said that the CIA is spying on Tulsi Gabbard's team. Okay, so let's just be clear. That's what's alleged. It's alleged that the CIA is in fact has not been brought to heel.
Right.
And we all know that people hate Tulsi Gabbard. We can see the media attacks right now. You can see people constantly murmuring, "Oh, Tulsi's going to be fired. We got to get her out of there." Tulsi's the person, again, that exposed Obama, exposed Eric CIA Ramella. She's done all of this stuff. She's made criminal referrals. She's trying to put, the inspector general with Trump's impeachment, in jail, or at least, put the referral to the DOJ. She's doing incredible work exposing the deep state. She is doing the work that many Americans voted. Yeah. This is what America voted for.
She wrote a whole book about it.
And yet we know there are people that don't want accountability. They're literally protecting themselves. The people who are lying here, the people that are combating her, know that they personally, and this is not a stretch. It's very plausible that they personally would go to jail here if they were actually caught, if the information got out.
With whistleblowers.
Anyway, this is what
These
he actually
were
says.
Americans being spied upon illegally while executing duties directed by the president and under the authority of the Director of National Intelligence. One CIA contractor assisting with the Diggs investigation into the events that transpired between 2022 and 2023 was fired by the CIA one day after meeting with the Dig.
Okay, now here it is, right here. It's this next page.
When the Diggs ceased operations, the CIA also took back 40 boxes of JFK files and MK Ultra files being processed for declassification by DNI Gabbard.
So that's the claim. The claim is when it ceased, the CIA took back their files, JFK files. By the way, we've been told there's all the JFK files have been released. Apparently not.
No.
Okay.
40
boxes.
Yeah, where's the smoking bun?
They're probably they're probably bank boxes too. You ever those bank boxes
fit a lot in 40 boxes.
So you have to look. This is not like it's news. The deep state is deep. Okay, and the idea that what we now know is just because you get a president of the United States in office, it doesn't bring. We know this from the first term. It doesn't bring the intelligence oligarchy to heel. And that's what is confirmed. If this whistleblower is accurate, that's what's confirmed. The intel community, just like we have suspected, has not been brought to heel, and they are still totally out of control. But here is Brianna Morello. This is what she says, according to an administration official she talked to. She says the CIA did not raid DNI Tulsi Gabbard's office. I spoke with a Trump official that tells me the actual events unfolded differently. Last fall, the CIA did visit the ODNI to retrieve certain documents. This Trump official emphasized there was no raid. The visit is part of a broader, year-long standoff between the CIA and the ODNI. The official said the CIA has been blocking the transfer of specific responsive documents to Gabbard's team. Among the materials the source believes are being withheld are documents related to COVID-19. Gabbard's team has requested documents and responsive materials are being blocked. The official said the tensions highlight ongoing friction between intelligence agencies as the Trump administration works to gain access to sensitive records. I have reached out to Gabbard's team for comment on this matter. I will update back when I hear anything. So, there's not a raid, but is there? Do you have, according to the reports, if this is true, you do have two executive agencies, and to be clear, the Director of National Intelligence is supposed to be over the CIA in terms of like the person that manages these these other intelligence agencies, the one where like the main sieve that organizes it all. Mm-hmm. They are in conflict. They are, you might even say, at war with one another. If these reports are true, which I think they are, because I live on planet Earth and have been alive for longer than 2 seconds. Yeah. The people that committed the crimes against this country, against the world, against humanity, many of them are probably in the CIA, and they don't want to be caught. And she's been declassifying everything she can once she processes it. I mean,
tell me how that even works, because the CIA answers to whom? Does anybody know the director?
Susie
of-
Wiles.
Baby. But the CIA falls under the DNI. So what are we talking about here? Like how can if anybody, so let's just say it's not a raid, but they're going to pick up some files there. If Tulsi wanted those files to stay, then what are we doing here? So I just don't know. This reporting, none of it smells good to me. And I'm not saying that this stuff didn't happen. I'm not saying that a raid didn't happen. I'm not saying a raid did happen. But I can tell you that you're 100% correct, Paul. The intelligence community is fighting tooth and nail against Tulsi. If she's got any skeletons in her closet, they're going to come out. They're going to come out. And I really, really hope that Donald Trump takes all of that with a grain of salt when it happens. We all know about the October surprise that happens every election. But when you have a person who is literally going in there with a sledgehammer, she's a threat. She is 100% a threat. And I can see her, well, first of all, hopefully not, God forbid, her safety at stake. But I can certainly see skeletons coming out and subterfuge happening behind the scenes here, so that we're getting her out of this position because she's just too much.
It'll be an excellent opportunity later this month when Congressman Rick Crawford is here to ask him about this friction.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
As the chairman of HPSI, who oversees the CIA and the DNI. What a great question for Congressman Rick Crawford when he
Amen
comes.
to that.
That'll be very, very
well,
interesting.
and we talked about this. Like he said it on the show the last time. Congressman Rick Crawford, again for our listening audience, who is he is the HPSI, right? The House Intelligence on what's it called?
The House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence.
Okay, so essentially the Intelligence Committee of the House. Our local congressman Rick Crawford is the chair of that committee. So he is one of the Gang of Eight. He is receiving this intel briefing. He sat right there where Eric is, and you could almost see a visual sigh of relief that Tulsi Gabbard was in charge, because he felt like finally someone is going to listen to all of this stuff. When she requested some stuff from him, he said, "Absolutely. Can I?" And she goes, "Can I come over to your office, please?" Like he welcomed it. So I think that there are members of this intelligence community that are seeing all of this stuff that's going on, and they don't like it. So I can understand how some of these career intelligence deep state people don't want this stuff coming out, because what are we doing? We're knocking at the door to open it up to see what skeletons are in there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, just a few things, just to kind of wrap up on this, a few comments here. Tim Poole on that Brianna Morella report says, "This isn't friction, this is sedition." You said it the other day, where we were talking about treason. This is Tulsi Gabbard is only doing what she was told to do by President Trump.
Yeah.
President Trump told her to do this. CIA is saying is making it very difficult.
CIA is under the DNI. The DNI is under who?
Yep.
Okay.
President
She
Trump.
serves at the pleasure of the president.
Yeah. R.N. McIntyre, this is not comforting in any way. The CIA works for the president, right? To your point, Rob, why do they get to deny the transfer of these files? Who was elected versus who is sovereign? Ooh, that's a great question, because as far as the CIA is concerned, or these lifer deep staters, they're the sovereign.
Yeah.
They're the ones, and practically speaking, they are, because they're the ones, not on paper, but practically speaking, they're the ones that just get to keep their job regardless of who's in the White House. And this is the problem.
Yeah.
We are ruled by our intelligence agencies. And right now we're currently in the middle of watching all these data centers go up where, I know we've already become comfortable with the idea that we're all under mass surveillance, But what can an AI really do with all the information we're feeding it every day? And I think some of these data centers are going to be able to optimize. Oh, and it'll be great. It'll make our lives probably a lot more convenient for a time. But then at the same time, it's now you've got light switch communism, just like we saw with COVID, where Fauci flipped the switch, and now all the hospitals were suddenly devoid of freedom of thought or any sort of critical thinking. And a lot of that's just because those doctors think they're critical thinkers when in reality they're analytical thinkers. They confuse their analytical thinking with critical thinking. You may disagree, but I'm not talking about all doctors, and I know I'm getting on a rabbit trail here, but I think a lot of doctors think that they're critical thinkers. But I think the system is set up for analytical thinking between certain goalposts. And so when Fauci was dictating all this stuff, that's my critique of the current medical industrial complex. But
here's the thing. This is more Eric's field here. When everybody just says, oh, trust your doctor, when this whole COVID thing happened, let's just go full circle with this. When everybody just said, trust your doctor. And I've said this, physicians are some of the most intelligent people in the world, at least in terms of their ability to complex information and retain it and pass a test on it and serve patients and all of that stuff with it. But do they know, quote, the science, right? And I have feared that a lot of our physicians are as good as the information that they got from the good-looking pharmaceutical rep. In terms of that person showed up, hey, we've got this new drug that's fantastic for this and this and this and this and this, right? We've got this new drug, okay? And so would you be interested in prescribing this to your clients? Well, it's talking about, and so then he or she goes and does some research on it. But again, all of that's like when we talk about research here, and so I think that our people are as good as the information that they are given. Well, then who is giving the information overall? Ultimately, who is it? And it's the person who has all the cards. It's the ones, the behind the scenes, the man behind the curtain, the deep state who knows everything and basically allows certain people to do certain things rather than, oh, we're caught off guard by this. I think that one of the few cudgels that we've got here is that Tulsi Gabbard was not predicted. We didn't want someone like Tulsi in charge of the DNI, which is exactly why she needed to be there.
Yeah.
And so I'm not trying to besmirch doctors because, good grief, they're way more intelligent than me, in terms of their abilities. But I mean, when people say trust your doctor, trust the science, trust the intelligence.
We did that. Or
we did it.
A lot of people did. I did.
How did it work out?
But a lot of people did. Hey, let's reset here. Take a break. When we come back, we got a lot more to cover. But when we come back, have you ever asked yourself the question when like a police officer gets into a high-speed chase with another car and they do the pit maneuver? Have you ever asked yourself the question, like, how does the police officer know who all is in the car? And in Mississippi County, Arkansas, there's a video out where an officer does a pit maneuver because somebody fled a traffic stop, a black woman fled a traffic stop, and she had a toddler in the car, and the car flipped over and rolled over.
Oh, God.
So we're going to have that footage for you here in a minute, but it raises a lot of questions. But number one, it raises, like, why would you ever run from the cops if you have a little... It's one thing to run from the cops at all, but why would you ever run from the cops if you have your child in the back seat of the car? Totally irresponsible. We're going to talk about that when we come back. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is the Paul Harrell program, and we will be back here in just a moment.
For centuries, light has been used to heal. Awaken the body with Red 5.
The other things that we're seeing, more and more use for is even vascular issues. So one of the mechanisms that red light, near infrared light, or Red 5 works is stimulation of the mitochondria and stimulation of nitric oxide production. So when nitric oxide is released in cells, it vasodilates cells. It reduces inflammation. It moves blood. It brings blood flow to areas. So folks that have issues with ulcers or burns or wounds, it can help stimulate increased blood supply, and you need blood to heal. So that can open up different avenues for peripheral artery disease, for neuropathic pain syndromes. And so that's one of the other areas for nerve injury or nerve pain that we can leverage this type of medicine.
This is our family dog, Bubba. He is a Shorty Jack Russell, and he brings a lot of love and laughter into our home. We just want to thank Pet Club for making healthy food and treats for our animals. Bubba has been on Pet Club food for a little over a year now. He really likes the Sequoia dry food, and then I put a scoop of the Sequoia wet dog food in there with some hot water and stir it up, and he absolutely loves it. And he likes the mush puppies, but his ultimate favorite is the antlers. Those keep him busy for a really long time, and he really likes them. It makes us feel really good that the food and treats that we give him have healthy ingredients in them, because we want him to be around for a really long time. Our previous dog was a lab, and his name was Titus, and we fed him in bulk, and we would just get his food from the big box grocery stores. And unfortunately, that food wasn't very healthy for him, and he ended up getting cancer and passing away. So we didn't want to make that mistake with Bubba, so we were really fortunate to find Pet Club and find some really healthy food for him to eat. So we would just like to thank Pet Club, and we just really appreciate the healthy food that they make, so we can keep this guy around as long as we can.
The Paul Harrell Program.
All right, welcome back. Thanks so much for being with us, ladies and gentlemen, on this Thursday afternoon. Now getting into our regular time slot here in about 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is going to really upset Rob. I just know it is. This is going to upset Rob. And I'm not teeing you up here to actually go off. Like I would prefer you not, but I'm just got this feeling inside. This is a video that's posted by the NEA report out of Arkansas. This is a video of a Arkansas state trooper encounter. A woman ran from a traffic stop. A pit maneuver was performed, but there was something unexpected in the car.
34 Jonesboro. Hands up! Got a toddler walking out of the back. Got a baby. Come stand right here. You're okay. Come right here, baby. Come right here. Come right here. Why did you run from me with a baby in the car? I don't care where you're going. You ran from me because you don't have a license? You almost killed your kid. Do you understand me? Come here. Stand in front of my car. Listen, I could have people run from me all day and it not make me mad. You have got a baby in the car. I'm disgusted by you.
That is up.
You're going to be all right, bud. You're going to be all right. Everything's okay. I'm going to go get a view.
You want me to hold you?
So,
jeez,
what kind of problem is this? I mean, it's just I'm speechless. I don't understand. Is it a short-term consequences problem? I mean, if you were gonna, if I was ever gonna run from the police, I mean, the circumstances where I would ever do that with my child with me are very, very slim. I mean, it'd have to be like, okay, it's the apocalypse, into the world, you know. I have no idea what the circumstances would be, but it wouldn't be from just an average traffic stop of, again, what he said, she doesn't have her license, so she takes off running from the cops with her child in tow.
Okay, I'm going to try to take this.
Yeah, okay.
A couple of things.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, just be calm about this. Of course, you know, and somebody, rightfully, Amy here in the comments, said something very obvious here. The first thing is that kid almost immediately runs out of that car, right? And how was that kid able just to get out of there?
That's a great question.
Because we know that they weren't in a car seat. We know that rollover happened probably with this kid, you know, loose in the back seat or something. And she's in the back seat. I don't know. And she is one of the most
selfish, inconsiderate, neglectful. I mean, I mean, what?
We can go down the rabbit trail of whether a pit maneuver should have been used at all. But you look at the tint on that car, which is probably illegal in the state of Arkansas because it's pretty dark tint on those windows. So that police officer could not have seen, you know, the kid being back there. And
now there is a hard cut there. I mean, the rollover happens, and then there's a cut.
Yeah.
To win the car to the kid. So maybe he was in a car seat.
Maybe, but I mean, if you're irresponsible enough to run from police, you know, with your child in the car, are you responsible enough to put them in a car seat? Because this guy obviously, at the very least, needed to be in a booster seat. I just have no sympathy. I understand that in the African American community there is a distrust of law enforcement. I get that. But to say because you don't have a license, which is a citable offense, if the police officers just feel is in a good mood, but at the very worst, you know, hey, come get this baby, come get this, you know, I can't let her drive, you know, pick her up, all this stuff. You're not getting arrested for no driver's license unless you've got warrants or something like that. And you damn near killed yourself and your kid over a ticket. It's not like you just robbed a bank. It's not like you just murdered someone. You damn near killed yourself and your kid over a ticket. Something is broken in that community with the messaging that comes from the left and the mainstream media and how it portrays police officers and their interactions toward people of color. Because we know what the statistics are. You're actually more likely, based off of the numbers of unarmed people who are shot by police, you're more likely to be unarmed and shot by the police as a white person, based off of the pure numbers, than you are a black person or any other person. But for the simple fact that there is this sort of permeating. It's not permeating. I mean, it's out there. You've got an entire underbelly of distrust in the minority community of police officers, so much so that you damn near killed yourself and your kid. You know, that she just turned that into multiple felonies. A citable offense, she just turned it into felony child endangerment, felony fleeing. I can't even imagine all the stuff that she's done. Probably speeding, reckless driving. All of the felonies are racked up.
Yeah.
All over not having your driver's license.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Then you have the whole idea of the pit maneuver as well, which this is obviously a video like this is going to bring that up into scrutiny.
Sure.
Which you know, I mean,
it does in Arkansas all the time because
there's a
Arkansas
rumor
guy they pit
all the
time.
I mean, there's
no tolerance because the statistics prove that like letting these cars go, those cars will go and they'll hit a mom with 3 kids in a minivan and kill them all.
Yeah.
And kill everybody.
Well,
so they don't mess around with this stuff. They will pit, and they should.
Well, and they pitted. They had to settle, though. I mean, it doesn't come without its pitfalls.
I'm sure.
They had to settle with some lady that didn't want to pull over, wanted to find an exit first to be safe, which is, I think, actually, apparently that's legal to do. according to the handbook. Because back in the day, I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, you had the blue light rapist. You had the person posing as a cop and was raping women. Well, she was a pregnant lady, and she was just trying to get to the next exit. Cop pitted her, and, I mean, she got a lot of money out of that.
Yeah, but did she slow down, put her hazard lights on,
Yes.
all that stuff? Okay, well, then she
Yes.
shouldn't have been pitted. You know,
Yeah.
if she has slowed
There's
down.
there's a rumor out there that, like, it's a rite of passage if you're an Arkansas State Trooper. I don't know if I believe it, but they're saying that it's like a rite of passage that you haven't been a made man until you've pitted somebody. I don't think that's true. I'm just saying, to Eric's point, like, Arkansas is known nationally for the pit maneuver.
I saw this countdown of a guy that he lives in California, and he counted down the 5 worst states to run from police. And Arkansas was number 1. Like, do not run from the police. And if you guys don't know, this is the state troopers, because of their that hat that gentleman is wearing. That is a distinct thing of the Arkansas State Troopers. Most of the time, Arkansas State Troopers are just handling motorists that are on the interstate and all of that stuff. They're not responding to a domestic violence call, domestic dispute call at a house, unless they just happen to be close by and all of that stuff. So I'm not trying to besmirch an Arkansas State Trooper whatsoever, but they are ticket writers. They're the people that pull you over for speeding, and they write tickets. But when you run from them, they are notorious. And it is nationwide, where a lot of these individuals realize that if I'm going through Arkansas and the state trooper tries to pull me over, I better pull over, because I'm going to end up in a ditch. And I just really struggle to believe that this woman didn't know that she was likely to get pitted. I mean, what did she think was going to happen, that they were just going to shut it down and let her go?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I think they're going to throw the book at her, and she's going to spend a lot of time in jail for this.
Well, again, I don't mean to sound like I don't think he did the wrong thing here. From his standpoint,
something just snaps in people, man. They get that fight or flight, parasympathetic system, and she just, I mean.
See, listen at him. At him.
Well, because what else would explain something so stupid?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is your argument there, ma'am?
Well, they already have your license plate. They already have, like,
nothing else describes anything that stupid.
So am I allowed to ask the question, like, what is this lady's IQ?
No, you're not allowed to ask that.
Am I not allowed to ask that question?
Because it doesn't matter. If you're driving, you cannot do that.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter if your IQ
matter.
is 60 or if your IQ is 120.
I mean, it
like
could.
You cannot. That can't. Like, if there's a A, B, C, D, E, list of things to do, like, nowhere on that list, multiple choice answer is it run from the troopers.
That's
with
true.
my 3-year-old in the car.
Maybe I'm suggesting that you don't get a driver's license if you can't get a certain IQ score.
Well, this lady's never going to have one.
Yeah,
again.
she's going to struggle to get one, and if she did get a driver's license, she's going to struggle to get insurance on a vehicle. If any insurance company ever sees that video, like,
but if you're the trooper, I mean, this is the stuff of nightmares are made of. If you're in law enforcement, the stuff nightmares. You're doing your job.
Yeah.
You're legally you're legally permitted to pit this person. You don't know if there's a child in the car, though, and then the worst. I mean, that's the stuff of I can never,
Well,
I love what W. Wilson says in the chat too about the I-40 being a hot spot for drug running and why these Arkansas State Troopers don't have any tolerance. I'm on that highway every single day, and that is exactly correct too.
Yeah.
They are not messing around with people and going to let drug runners get away and just let them go on and that be okay. No, they will because they know that those guys won't stop.
Yeah, and on the I-40 corridor being a great drug trafficking thoroughfare, there's a reason Mena Airport was.
Yeah,
I-40 was right there, baby.
What's his name? The Baltimore man, the Maryland man. That's where he got caught. Was on 40, running illegals up through Nashville.
I didn't know that.
Up from Texas, up through that. That's where Diego Garcia. That's where he got caught.
Well, don't run from the police, number one. Yes, don't run from the police. And we can debate whether that state trooper should have pitted her or not. We can debate that all day long, but unless we're in that situation, it's hard for us to throw stones at them. But I think we can all agree that she had no business running from the police. I just don't think that there's ever it's all you're doing is racking up felonies. The only people who are probably got a good chance of getting away is if they're on a crotch rocket or something. You know, these fast.
Those are entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
And those, you
Super
got a
scary.
chance, right?
Yeah. Do you ever get trapped in the algorithm on like Instagram or TikTok or something or X where it's like, oh, you like seeing this motorcycle or this Dodge Charger supercharged getaway? Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like everything I scroll past, it's like,
Right. Yeah. This cop car is not catching up if they're going 170 miles an hour.
It's really sad though because you end up rooting for the motorcycle. You're like, oh, is he going to get away? Yeah. It's possible. It's possible. I'd never do it, but you're living vicariously through.
Well,
I think
it's because we had those games when we were a kid on Sega Genesis.
Yeah,
where
I remember this.
Motocross, like we had those games.
Excite Bike, is that the one you're talking about?
No, that's a good one.
Anybody remember Excite Bike?
Yeah,
the little wheelie.
Yeah.
Why am I constantly overheating? I don't get it.
Yes, that was
Stop
huge.
holding down the button.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
That noise, that overheating noise. It was like if I heard that right now, it'd be like hearing an alarm clock. The alarm clock noise that triggers you psychologically.
Yeah, it was terrible.
All right, so AI. All right, we've done a couple shows on that this week, or one show on it, a topic on it. I'm going to do another follow-up on AI. So get ready, Rob and Eric, for a conspiracy theory AI video.
Oh, God.
This is from a guy by the name of Greg Reese. Well, we keep asking the question, why are the data centers going in? Like, why are the data centers happening? So he lays out the problem, but then goes into why. And it is something that I can promise you the two of you have probably never heard before. But I'm just getting it out there to get your reaction. Okay? So listen to this. This is from a guy named Greg Reese who made the video about what these data centers are really for. Take it with a grain of salt, folks. But we've got a follow-up on the Georgia data center after this.
The AI data centers in America have already become hugely unpopular. The noise pollution from their cooling systems reach up to 100 decibels and run non-stop. They are drawing down aquifers in areas that are already in short supply, turning the water brown and tainting it with a disinfectant smell. And there is no benefit to the local community. A U.S. Chamber of Commerce report found that each data center provides about 157 jobs. Because of all this, developers have been using non-disclosure agreements with local officials, and projects are announced only weeks before voting for approval. There are now nearly 200 active opposition groups across the United States, and it's growing fast. The official story is that the U.S. needs to stay competitive to beat China in an artificial intelligence arms race. But that story does not add up. The United States has already built over 4,000 data centers. China ranks at number 4 with 368. What they appear to be is the infrastructure for a new financial system, one that includes mass surveillance and autonomous weapon systems to protect it. The US dollar system is quickly collapsing, which would devastate the entire world economy. The only solution being played out is the AI agentic economy, which requires a massive amount of computing power. This new AI agentic system will be run by autonomous software entities that can own wallets, earn and spend money, create contracts, and transact with each other without human intermediaries. This addresses the debt problem by growing the economy faster than the debt accumulates. Like the petrodollar, it extends US dollar hegemony without fixing its core issue, the debt. The Bank for International Settlements is the bank for central banks. It is immune from any national law, and its employees have diplomatic immunity. It answers to no government on earth, and every central bank is a member.
By the way, that kind of looks like the Tower of Babel, I'm just saying.
BRICS only appears to be in opposition to Western banking. It is not. BRICS is aligned with the rest of the world in adopting this new AI digital banking system. But a growing number of analysts agree that this is a temporary fix. After about 10 years, the consumption of resources, the displacement of human workers, and the massive transfer of wealth to the few who own these AI agents makes a fundamental restructuring unavoidable.
Okay, so far, first of all, I don't know if he used AI to make this video or his voice, but that's pretty ironic if that's the case. So far, okay, not crazy, right? Not a crazy necessarily out of left field. I mean, I don't know if that's all true, but then the video goes on.
And yet, the entire world is going along with this plan. The question is, why? As we covered in last week's video, the New World Order, the emerging unipolar world is preparing for a major geological event that is expected to be catastrophic for the United States and beneficial to Russia. In the United States, data centers are being built inland and on elevated land, away from the coastlines. This is where all vital U.S. infrastructure is being moved, and is where billionaires are buying up acres by the millions. China is building their data centers inland and high above sea level, over 1,200 kilometers from their main user bases, who have been complaining about latency and security. China has also built ready-to-occupy ghost cities at high elevation, deep inland, and on geologically stable platforms.
All right, so what he's essentially saying here is, because we've never ever talked about this conspiracy theory, because but I have heard of it. He's essentially saying that the governments across the world know that there's going to be some sort of magnetic pole shift happen on the planet, and it's going to drastically reshuffle what land is available, meaning sea levels rise, or they fall here, or they raise there. That's what he's essentially saying. But he is right about the ghost cities. China has built ghost cities. There are people that have infiltrated them. In the past, the story about the Chinese ghost cities has been that China is just so totalitarian, and they artificially set what their gross domestic product must be. And so they're going to hit that no matter what. And if that means they're going to build cities that nobody lives in, then so be it. And in the Western media, we've just consumed that. That's the narrative. I
thought that was due to birth rate. I thought that was the birth rate was the problem. They thought they were growing at such an exponential rate that then once that stopped, then it was just like, oh well, shoot. We've overblown the housing market here, and we didn't realize that moms and dads are going to quit having babies.
Well, they're now in a population decline like the rest of the world. I haven't actually heard that. At the time when I reported on the ghost cities years ago, because there were guys that snuck in, and it was the creepiest thing. These brand new cities. I bet. Really creepy, brand new cities.
It'd be like finding one of those cities in the desert where they tested atomic bombs or something like that you see in movies.
Right. But this is another explanation for why, and again, I don't know if I believe it, like they're preparing for some, mass event where people need new cities to live in. But the Western take on it the Western media was, no, the reason they're being built is because China is just committed to showing the world that they grew this much in GDP, and so they get built no matter what. Whether there's people, because there's not enough money to buy there's not the market for it, allegedly. So the idea was, well, China's got a controlled economy. That's why it's a story. This guy's saying, no, they've been built for another purpose.
Well, I don't know. Listening to that, I felt like what was coming was like the T2 music.
Yeah.
And those red eyes were just about to come out of the back, and you were gonna see the T1000 or something like that,
or a naked cop.
A naked cop. No, not a naked cop.
Oh, you mean because the Terminator arrives?
The Terminator arrives naked, and then he becomes a cop. Stick with me, guys.
With that kneel down.
Don't lump me in with him. I'm totally. I was tracking.
The jokes are a little too highbrow for the Eric Haynes.
Yeah,
over
the
there.
voice of reason over here has never seen Terminator, but apparently, he obviously.
So that we may be too far from viewing the video for this to make sense, but it sounds like Doug Bergram to me. to the narrator of this video.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it sounds like. And I'm wondering if Doug is like secretly back there, just saying, hey, look, this AI is coming. Obviously, that's not the case. But, it's hard for me to believe that China builds these cities with no intent. But obviously, the ghost cities exist. They've existed for quite a while. But you people in China are on top of each other, right? I mean, they say Shanghai is like so incredibly overly populated. Like, why would they build cities with nothing? If you've got the land for it, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's interesting. I just wanted
I want to see this guy's interview with Alex Jones. Apparently, he was on Alex Jones's show.
Oh, Greg Reese was?
Yeah. I want to see his.
Like I said, I'm not discounting it. I won't discount anything. I just knew it was a theory you guys hadn't heard of. This idea that some sort of pole reversal's coming. The governments know it's going to happen, and it's going to be catastrophic. So. That's one conspiracy theory that's out there on the data center side. Because we've been asking, well, what is the purpose of these data centers? I speculated, is it like, if you build it, we will come? Like, it's tied to the UFO disclosure, which I think is demonic. Anyway.
Listen, I think as soon as Arnold dies, we're in trouble.
That he's like Methuselah.
Yeah.
He's like Methuselah. Methuselah dies, the flood happens in the Bible. That the oldest man, it was said that once Methuselah dies, that's when the flood was going to happen.
Okay.
And so you're saying that when Arnold dies, like he was the warning.
Yeah.
When Arnold dies, Skynet launches.
Yeah.
And
that, and I need a gym selfie of Linda Hamilton to see if she's still ripped. She was ripped up in Terminator 2.
How's the knee, doctor?
and people say like we got to have girl bosses, and it's like it really shows you how Hollywood is so crazy. Like you had girl bosses, you had them, and they worked within the story. Linda Hamilton, Sigourney Weaver in Alien. You had these. It's not like we didn't have them. You just made them dominate and emasculate men.
What about Final Girl? Final Girl of horror movies. There's not Final Guy. It's not Final Guy. The Sidney Prescotts of the world. The girl that always survives Jason. In Friday the 13th. It's always a girl that survives. It's never a guy. So there's always been these strong female leads, but yet we need a hill.
But what we have now is strong female leads that can fight multiple grown men. And the men have to be like Homer Simpson doofuses or gay, one or the other.
My question
or
is,
just always horny. That's what it is.
True. My question is, if Tim Burchett had just watched this Reese video for the first time, how would he analyze this video, Paul? What would he say about it?
Well, I think he'd say that the data centers just
explanation
they gotta
for all
go.
the chaos.
I mean, these AI data centers in the new world order. I mean, that's what's coming, Joe. That's what's coming, and we all know. And I've sat there in these committees, and I've heard, and I've seen biologicals. I've seen actual photos of biologicals, and I've seen a lot of things that I just can't say. But if we can't get the intel community to be honest with us, and I don't know, we got all this trouble now with the Strait of Hormuz, and we got all this war with Iran, and you think that maybe we could use some of that technology that they've got under wraps. We could have this war over in an afternoon.
You know what? I agree with you, Tim. I agree with you.
All right, so Conway, Arkansas has a data center. So exactly what he was talking about there, about how it's happening so quick. Here's a snippet from the local ABC affiliate out of Little Rock about Conway, Arkansas's data center.
Yeah, Chris, for a while now, people living in Conway have demanded more transparency from the city about this data center proposal.
Pause it.
Hold on.
I need to recover here.
I know you thought data centers weren't sexy, but let me tell you how these data centers work.
Yeah. So
first of all, you got people, and these people are angry. How angry? Are angry enough to show up to a town meeting.
That's what he sounds like. That
chew you up and speak.
Yeah.
He's got some great pipes.
Yeah, he sounds like
I want to sit next to this guy in church and listen to him sing bass,
that's right.
man.
Chocolate rain.
Oh gosh,
chocolate rain.
That's an old classic. I've been singing that a while for some reason here recently, and I don't even know why I got it in my head. But for some reason, I thought like one of two things here, right? Either I don't think I need to say it.
Okay, all right, here it is.
Keep going.
Continue.
So what the city knows was given to residents, but most of all, neighbors got to speak directly to the council.
Baby. Come on up in here.
A question we have is, why should Conway residents support this proposal while so much info remains unknown? I'm here off Lally Road, where what you see behind me could be one of the biggest projects in Conway history. It's where developers want to build a $1 billion data center. But first, residents have questions tonight about who's building it and what the impact will be.
It has now been over a year since I stood at this podium asking questions about this project. And to this day, I still did not have real answers.
Jeremy Rice is one of those residents where this proposal hits close to home because it is. Rice says he lives 500 feet from the proposed site and has raised concerns for years over the project.
But somehow we're still not far enough along to provide residents with basic information.
The roughly 300,000 square foot data center campus would sit in the Lally Road area of Conway. The project is tied to an unnamed Fortune 100 company at an estimated $1 billion investment. The facility would be built on land recently rezoned for heavy industrial use and could pull significant power and cooling infrastructure from Conway Corp, Conway's power and water provider.
What are we getting for this? How are we benefiting from this? Because it doesn't look like we're benefiting very much as it stands.
A memorandum of understanding would give the undisclosed company a 65% tax abatement for 30 years, with Conway getting investment and about 50 jobs. But why should Conway residents support this proposal while so much info remains unknown?
Like all major economic development projects, this early in the development process, this project is still speculative. Economic conditions, the availability of power, etc., could cause the project to be delayed indefinitely.
Conway Corp is assessing whether they can support.
All right, so
Conway Corp is assessing.
I saw Mr. Wonderful today get interviewed about data because one of his just recently got pretty much smashed and didn't get approved.
Yeah.
And he like doesn't get it. And then you hear residents and you hear people talking and they're like, no.
Yeah.
We're not going to have this.
It's like, what are we getting for this? Well, lady, you're getting saved from the pole shift that's coming.
Right. What's Mr. Wonderful going to? I just don't get it. Why they don't want this $6 billion or what?
Well, he's a businessman. He's always going to look at it through the lens of what's his name? Kevin O'Leary.
O'Leary.
Kevin O'Leary.
He did Tucker the other night.
I literally saw him get interviewed today about it.
Hey, I agree with 95% of the stuff he says.
I do too. That's
O'Leary.
That's why it's weird.
Oh, yeah.
The shark.
Yeah.
Well,
he's on CNN. He's on Fox News. He's just a contributor to all these places.
Well, he sat down with Tucker, and they had a big debate about this very thing, the data centers.
I haven't heard that. I kind of quit listening to Tucker.
I know, but he's the one that just got the 46,000-acre data center in Utah.
Yeah. Look,
on the vote of 3 commissioners.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, what's the big deal? We've got, they were elected. And it's like, yeah, they were elected, they did it, but now the people don't want it, and those commissioners are going to get
paid,
thrown out of office.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's really easy to let's just be real. I'm not saying these particular commissioners were bribed, but I mean, it's a lot easier to pay off 3 people than it is to get a majority of your constituents to go along with it. But on this Conway thing, what I want to say is, I don't understand that. What really bothers me is the secrecy here. Because you notice they don't even know which company it's connected to.
Yeah, it's undisclosed top 100
It's all undisclosed.
Yeah.
The state of Arkansas just gave $300 million in tax incentives to an unnamed project in West Memphis. And it's like, how is this okay? How is it okay for the government to do this by keeping the public in the dark? If you want government taxpayer dollars, okay, like we can have that debate whether or not that's the business of government. I tend to think it's not, but we can have that debate. But we've now moved on from that to we're going to do business with companies that we don't even know who they are. We're going to allow some company to approach us and us not be able to tell the citizens who we're in negotiations with because they make you sign some sort of NDA. That is absolute. Like, if you want your data centers, just be transparent about it.
I don't think that you should be allowed for government approval of things. So obviously this property had to be rezoned, the one we're talking about in Conway. And a lot of these do have to be rezoned so that they will allow for this. But also infrastructure has to be put into place, from the government, from the city officials. I don't believe that you should be able to apply for this stuff, and maybe initially you apply for it, and if you've got some sort of preliminary, like, hey, we're open to hearing about this, your identity should be disclosed. Because if you are a taxpayer and taxpayer funds are going in any way towards your project, taxpayers need to know about that. And so it just blows my mind. And we're experiencing it here locally here with what's happening in Conway. And the mayor's just like, well, we're early on in the process and nothing's been approved and blah, 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 blah. Shut up, man. You are covering your assets, and that's what you're doing. You're trying to make sure that whatever thing you were promised on the back end here, if allegedly
jobs. Let's
or
just say,
whatever,
it doesn't have to
could
be,
just be jobs.
Could be jobs.
Could just be jobs. Could be the fact that he's going to vacation in the Maldives this year. I don't know. But whatever it is, like, you are elected mayor. Stand up there and tell us. Like, hey, what's going on? He's not my mayor, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, tell us what's going on. Where I'm a taxpayer, taxpayer funds are going to be going to do this stuff. Like, why are we allowed a Fortune 100 company? Okay, not even a Fortune 500, right? We're talking about the top 100 company, so it's huge. Is allowed to be anonymous here, and we're losing. Looks like farmland, current farmland. We're losing that. We're going to have infrastructure put in, and we're going to have a potential nuisance to all of the citizens, and we don't even get to know who the hell this company is.
Yeah, you're talking about Walmart, Amazon, United Health Group, Apple, Berkshire Hathaway, CVS Health, ExxonMobil, Alphabet, which would be Google. Those are just the first 8 of the top 100.
How? Is that a ranking?
I guess it's just the...
Look at number 3. Tell me that's not a problem.
United Healthcare Group.
Tell me that's not a problem. Eric, picking on you there a little bit, but tell me that's not a problem. Because all the rest of those companies are straight up for-profit companies there. Walmart, Amazon, Apple, Berkshire Hathaway. I mean, all this stuff, like these are for-profit companies. And obviously, United Healthcare Group has to be a for-profit company. But when you're talking about how our medical care and health insurance industry is broken, now it's better than the single-payer models that the socialists want to implement. But Cigna, there's another one. Good grief, man. Why are all these huge healthcare companies on the Fortune 100 list? Good Lord.
Because Obama enriched them with Obamacare. That's exactly why.
Well, that's true.
Coming in from the ropes.
Yeah.
I
will trust Eric's assessment of that.
That was a big part of the reason why so many of these companies jumped up in value. Do you think that hurt them? Do you think the changes to the healthcare system hurt them? No, it enriched them. It hurt us.
Yeah. And that makes us...
what happened is everything that Obamacare became was exactly the opposite of what President Obama promised.
And these big companies get really rich, and then they make the average person idle. Mm-hmm. And I know Eric would say that idle Hanes are the devil's workshop.
Idle Hanes?
Idle Hanes. Yes.
You see my little tagline there at the bottom?
Oh, I didn't even see that. What's mine today? I didn't even see.
You are still. Let me see.
You're not changing mine up?
No, I love yours. It's
okay.
I think it's Rob Al Ghul. I mean, you're welcome to change it, but Rob Al Ghul, League of Shadows, Memphis Division, is
okay.
I mean, it's 100% you.
You
man.
can.
So
you know what? You could put it as trans women are men. You could put that and leave it at that, because I will never waver from.
Okay.
Trans women are men.
I can update that.
Yeah, men can't get pregnant, whatever you want to call it.
All right.
You got to do that in the Bane voice, too. The Rob.
You were born. Wait a minute. What is it?
You came into the studio pissed off about something.
Tell us.
You live in the darkness. I was born in it.
There
you go. That's pretty good, I think.
That was good.
Yeah.
Way better than mine.
Not as good as
trans women are men.
It's totally not as good as your Tim Burchett.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I sound that kind of had a Jean-Luc Picard. All right, so here's Ansley Brown. She's the viral Georgia resident who's trying to save her family home.
Yeah.
She recently got the attention of the Georgia State Senator Greg Dolezal. And not to be confused with Rachel Dolezal, no relation. Remember Rachel Dolezal, the white woman who pretended to be black? Anyway.
I forgot about that crazy.
Yeah, but
I think she's on OnlyFans
So
now.
she is showing. Oh gosh,
LFA producer coming in. LFA producer.
What is it?
You bastards! I can get pregnant if I want to. Yeah.
But so here's the power lines that exist. Just watch this video.
Hey you guys, it's Ansley from Coweta County, Georgia, fighting for my mom's house that's being taken by eminent domain. Today I'm here with Senator Greg Dolezal, showing him my mom's property that they're trying to take from us. As you see behind me, these are the power lines that neighbor my mom's property. They already have 400 feet of property here. They have plenty of room to work with, but they want more. How much more? They want 200 feet more in this direction. If you want to come this way, Mom, you can kind of see. My mom's house is just through those woods right there. As you can see, it's wrong. It's not right. They have plenty of room to work with here. They don't have to take these homes, but they're doing it anyways. What do you think about this?
This is crazy. I had no clue that there was this much space, and frankly, Ansley, when I pulled up, I kind of figured that maybe they're going to come into the first row of trees. I did not realize it was going to be all the way over there. Y'all, public policy decisions and votes have downstream implications that affect real families and real people. And the fact that we have this crazy tax credit here in Georgia that is giving away billions of dollars for data centers that come set up shop here in Georgia is why so many of them are coming.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And, you know, we've been fighting this fight as to whether or not the data centers should have to pay their pro rata share of this capacity expansion. That's been a big fight at the Capitol. But this data center tax credit thing is the reason why families like yours are having to deal with this. And I'm just so sorry for what y'all are going through.
I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everybody's support who has shared my videos. I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm going to be out here every day until this house is either on the ground or stays in our family forever. Thank you guys. I really appreciate all the shares. And Georgia Power, I'm coming for you.
She needs to, you know, post on X that she is not suicidal. Mm-hmm. That she is, you know, loves life. She would never, you know, because when one person like this gets enough attention, now you've got, and now we're at a state rep here. Like, what if we get the Georgia House representatives, the members, I forget, and I don't know who they are, but you know, one of the senators from Georgia jump on this. Like this thing could kind of grow there, where she gets her way and gets to keep her house.
Yeah, it's like the precursor to that like Enemy of the State movie or something like that. Like she needs to watch.
What a callback!
Watch what's happening.
What a callback! That movie, man, that was
was
thought
way
to be,
ahead of its time.
That was thought to be science fiction.
Way ahead of its time.
You remember that movie?
I think it's mild by. Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, by today's standards.
I think it's mild by today's standards.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, even Gene Hackman, his character there, he said, you know, that was 20 years ago, you uttered the word bomb on a telephone and somebody's looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody it gets flagged. So a lot of the idea would be a lot of this AI that is now in public consumption is already, you know, has already been in existence for a very long time. It's only just now being revealed. I think that's obvious. So I got a couple. You mentioned the trans issue, so I want to talk about this here in a minute. But before we get to that, have you guys heard about this Walmart TV? Apparently, Walmart has made some deal with Samsung, and Walmart is selling a very large television and intentionally losing money on it because the TV itself track, like you pay such a low price because it's going to track literally everything you do.
I walked into Sam's Club Sunday afternoon with one of my kiddos. We were there to get some salmon, and I walked in and there's a 98-inch TV, big screen TV for less than $1,000.
Yeah,
a 98-inch TV for less than $1,000.
I saw a video that they have made this 150-inch TV. And I can't even imagine, like, you'd have to have
the mounts and stuff like that for those once they get that big. Like, there's no fireplace mantle.
Yeah, you hit a stud. You hit a stud back there, and that 2x4 is holding on for dear life.
How big do your
from there.
cathedral ceilings have to be?
Yeah,
to mount a 150-inch TV. But yeah, no, I saw that on, and I just stopped kind of dead in my tracks and looked at my little girl. And I was like, Ellie, do you see that? And I was like, that's a 98-inch TV right there.
That's crazy, dude.
Just like regular TV, not like a pull-down screen. I've seen, big projection screen things before, but this was just like a stand-up TV, 98 inches for less than $1,000.
I would really like to have a 98-inch TV. I don't want it at the expense of Walmart controlling my mind.
Yeah, really.
Watch this video. Let's check this out. Ricardo says Walmart is selling you an unprofitable TV that watches everything you do and reports it back to their $6.4 billion advertising.
Behind me, we have a 50-inch Vizio TV. We're selling that for $128. And I want to pause here. We saw someone in one of our stores the other day that had 3 of these in his basket, and we asked him about it. And it was priced so low that he thought we had made a mistake and mispriced it and was taking advantage of it to buy 3 of them. But when you see something like that, it's telling you that customers are willing to lean in and buy those higher ticket prices when they find value with them. But how that translates into our financial results, you'll remember we bought Vizio. With Vizio, we control the operating system. And so we have that relationship with the customer far beyond that specific moment of the purchase of a TV. And so the margin on selling a unit of a TV is not that great, but we can monetize advertising by providing that additional channel to them going forward and continuing that relationship with the
So the idea now is if you buy a Vizio past a certain date, I don't know what it is, but if you buy a Vizio past a certain manufacturing date, a one that's pretty recent, you cannot use that TV unless you create a Walmart account. Like the first thing that they're going to make you do.
What?
That's according to what I read. I don't not in this store. Obviously, he's not going to admit that. You buy a Vizio TV now, you have to create a Walmart account before you use it.
Yeah, I'm good with
and order your sit there on the couch while you're watching TV and click over and order your groceries and order your stuff for your Walmart orders.
I'm assuming they'll make that very seamless. I mean, that would be within there.
That way, when you come sit down and you've got notifications popping up and reminders and little coupons and stuff popping up randomly, like, hey, last time you were watching, TV, you ordered some Hanes underwear.
And
would you like to order some more?
Just wait till we get our Hanes on.
We got the 6-packs on sale now.
I saw you walking around the house with some nasty underwear on the other day.
Those Fruit of the Looms are not doing well for you, sir.
You need to cash those in.
You did say that. You didn't say Fruit of the Looms. You said Hanes.
Daggum right.
Do you wear Hanes, Eric Hanes?
No.
No, he wears
here we go.
Coach or he wears what's something
here
real fancy? Go. Prada. He wears Prada underwear.
I teed that up for him.
You ever said the phrase?
I put that right on the tee and let him
you ever said
hit
the
it.
phrase to anyone? Just wait till I get my Hanes on you. Have you ever said that phrase to anyone? Hopefully your wife.
Of course not.
Don't do it.
Hopefully it's only your wife. Okay, so here's the thing. This will be a controversy. This is how it works. This will be a controversy for a little while. No one's going to care, and then somebody like Kroger, we're like, oh yeah, well we just bought Samsung, and now you have to care. And then people will be like, oh well, I don't want a Walmart TV. I want a Kroger TV, and everybody will accept it, because it'll be like McDonald's and Burger King, Coke and Pepsi. And
I don't really shop at Kroger. I do shop at Walmart, and it's a little bit creepy because we're Walmart Plus, members, and we get you get the free deliveries, and there's perks, and
Yeah.
they're
10
actually
10 cents off.
10 cents off a gallon.
Discount on gas.
As
Yep.
much as I drive, they're actually losing money on me.
Yeah.
But I'm one of the exceptions here. So I do like that. I don't like the idea of my Vizio TV, watching me walk around my house naked, which I don't do. But if I wanted to, I'd be like, hey, Walmart, excuse this. It's not cold in here, I promise,
Another movie reference. This feels like Batman Forever, where Riddler had the things that go on top of the TVs that go into your brain.
Yep.
It's like, man.
Well, yeah.
It's coming.
It's pretty crazy. Truth seems, stranger than fiction.
It was a joke in the 90s, but here it is.
Well, listen, they know everything. I mean, as long as these are in our pockets.
Yep, it's already there.
They already know everything.
It's already there. It's already here. All right, so where do we want to go next? Oh yeah, I've had this. We're gonna end up running out of time, so I'm gonna get to this because Eric, you sent this to me, and I want to make sure to get it because you are a Gen Xer, and I identify as a Gen Xer. Honestly, you sent me this video, and I think we're gonna play it now. Here it is.
Who let Gen X off the hook? Why aren't we talking about those guys?
Because, sir, we will you up. We fought in real life, not on the internet. We are the last generation of feral children. We didn't have safe spaces. We didn't have trigger warnings. No one was allergic to gluten. We mind our own business. We are older than Google. We are not the bigger person. Leave us alone.
We are not the bigger person.
This is
I
how
love that.
I walk around all day, every day. This is in the back of my mind, analyzing things. I'm just like, golly, I am such a Gen Xer. Because this stuff nowadays just does not make sense to me. My kids come home, and some of the things they tell me, I hate it because I'm just at a loss for words sometimes. And I'm like, well, I did not have that going on in my school when I was growing up, and I don't feel that old.
Yeah, I do. I think it is. It is really interesting to. I mean, I like videos like that, but I will say I have recently been made aware, or I guess remembered. About 10 years ago, maybe a little before that, there were all these articles about how lazy millennials were. Do you remember that? And millennials were woke, right? And I think a lot of them, as they got older, they've come out of it.
The younger millennials, yes.
Yeah, they've come out of that. But we're obviously millennials. Technically, I'm a millennial.
I'm a zennial. I was born in 79.
Oh, okay.
So they call me a zennial, and I'm like, no, I'm X. I'm just X.
So you're X. And so I'm 84, and so I'm right there on the cusp. I mean, I think I'm the Oregon Trail. I had a Walkman. I saw analog to go to digital.
Yeah.
It's a different section of millennials. But I remember being on the radio and ripping on the younger millennials because we had all these articles about how, they were liberal, but all these articles about how lazy they were or whatever. But I think some of that was just nonsense. I think a lot of those articles were now psyops to just get people to ignore just how bad the economy is. And then if you look at what millennials went through, a lot of what millennials went through, when you look at they get out of college and then the financial crisis hits, then they finally get back on their feet and COVID hits, and just how actually things are. And it's kind of all done, the criticism all done to shield the fact that actually, no, it's not like this evil, this level playing field like a lot of the older generation wanted to pretend that it was. But
yeah.
So
I can say, having spoken to some college groups lately, being a guest speaker and at some Grand Rounds courses and other things in some colleges, that like the ones graduating right now are freaked the heck out.
Yeah.
They're literally freaked out because now they've done the college thing to get this degree and this paper in hand because they thought they needed to or had to, and they're looking at a market that just does not make any sense and realize that they're probably going to be,
working at Starbucks,
pouring coffee somewhere for a while, or working at the same restaurant that they worked in during the summers when they were in college. And there's a lot of big frustrations right now because they're looking around like, well, do I move to a bigger city and try to afford $2,500 a month for a single condo in a single bedroom condo? Do I stay here and live with my parents for a few years? Do I find a gap year and do something? Like they're just really freaked out because that sheet of paper is not really doing them any good yet, and they're not getting a lot of options that they want.
Well, there's that website where that girl I was telling you guys about. It's called Degree Free.
Oh,
and she does all these videos about, like, if you've got young kids right now or kids that are not quite ready for college, like all of the things, all these conversations you can start having with them about how you don't necessarily have to go to college, and the whole website or organization is just this movement of like saying, hey, like start having conversations with your kids about when they get kind of at that cusp age, like what do you value, like what do you want to do, but like also, well, how do you want your work day to be?
Yeah.
Like, how much time do you want to spend working? And that there are these paths, and not even necessarily with just the traditional trades that you hear about, the trade of plumbing or the trade of electricity or electrician. There's a lot of other trades that are out there. I mean, I saw a business idea the other day of a business where you just go and you clean the fryers of restaurants, and how you can make you're cleaning up grease for a living. But there's all kinds of different
guys like
things.
Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, and who's been huge on VOTEC schools and on trade schools and on we need more we need more welders, we need more plumbers, we need more, like, he's a genius, and he got so abused in the public sphere for so long, and now he's like absolutely thought of as a genius, like way ahead of his time, because he's been saying this stuff for like 15 years. And nobody gave him an ounce of credit, and now everybody's like, that welder coming out of their training program can make $100,000. Like, that's what we should be telling these kids.
I'm having a conversation right now with my 15-year-old son who's really struggling in school. He just can't make it. He's got ADHD, and so he struggles to sit still and all of that stuff. But he's really interested in like taking things apart and putting them back together and all of that. And he's also extremely interested in old cars, old vehicles. And I thought, why in the world is this kid, he's wasting away. This is just high school, right? And so if he were to just get his, homeschool or general ed GED and all that stuff and go internship at a mechanic and become, I'm like, you will always have a job.
Always.
It may change. It may be like you're working on hybrids instead of combustible engines, but combustion engines, but like here at a local car dealership, the master mechanics at the Ford dealership start out at $100,000 a year. Now, I'm not sure where y'all are, but $100,000 a year in the state of Arkansas is pretty good.
That's good money.
It's especially if you're, if he really likes girls, and so I'm assuming he'll get married, and if she works, you could have a nice life being a mechanic. So there's no need for this guy to go to college. It would be a waste of his time. And I've also, while y'all were talking, I also thought about this kid who was, I don't know how old he was, 14, I don't even know where this is at, Ohio or something like that. He decides, everybody's pulling their garbage can down to the road, and then they're pulling it back up, and sometimes the can sits there for a couple of days, or sometimes people miss trash day and all that stuff. What if I go around and ask people, hey, for $20 a month, I will come by on your trash day, and I will take your garbage can down to the road, and then after trash is run in the afternoon, I will come back and I will pick it up for $20 a month, right? So $5 a week. Do you know how many, like, I would pay that right now. I'd pay it right now, $20 to never hear my wife say, we missed trash day again. What are you going to do? And she doesn't say it like that, but she's like, oh, we missed trash day. What are we going to do? We got too much trash. He figured out a way to make money off of something that absolutely doesn't require a college degree.
Yeah.
And this guy, and his mom was telling the story. It was a news story, and he had like 300 customers. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not doing the math there, but that's what is that? $6,000 a month? This kid's making. He's making $72,000 a year while he's 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Like there are ways to make money, and going into incredible amounts of debt. All these people that are freaking out about their job careers probably have some sort of debt. I got a text message while we were on this show that says, congratulations, you've paid down your student loans even further. It's 2026. I graduated from college because I went to college a little bit later, and I graduated in 2010. So for 16 years, and I'm still paying on my college, my, whatever, and it's not even halfway. The only reason we haven't paid it off is because the interest rate is so much lower than some of our other things, and so you're like, well, let's pay down this higher interest rate thing. But why? For a degree I don't even use anymore.
Yep.
That's the big key.
Yeah,
so
you're exactly right. All right, we're running out of time. But I wanted to throw this story out there.
You want to throw a trans person to get me pissed off before the end of the show?
I don't mean to.
Here we
but
go.
This is
Trigger
just,
warning.
It really should have spent way more time on this.
Mm-hmm.
Mia Bailey details how she killed her parents in an interrogation video. This is from Utah. Mia Bailey said she, which by the way is a he. So the media just is so clueless here. I mean, the fact that they're still going with the wrong pronoun. He decided to kill her parents after his mother interfered with his transition surgery. According to newly acquired interrogation video from Washington County Police, June of 2024, then 28-year-old Bailey detailed what led her to kill both her parents and how she did it. Quote, I told them I was going to kill myself so many times, mental health declining. That's why I needed the surgery. Bailey said she was detailing with an abusive family, was homeless, and had $20,000 in debt from hormone replacement therapy and other fees. She described that her one thing keeping her together was the plan for gender-affirming surgery.
Oh, God.
She was trying to sabotage it, meaning the mom. She always had boundary issues. I had one thing going on, and she took it away from me. And so she says, I went to my parents' house to do the deed, to kill them. It was spur of the moment. I don't regret it. I hate them. This was the last straw. I told myself to throw away that part of me. I ran in the door, and then she shot 12 rounds. She even tried to shoot her brother. And listen to what she says at the end.
Quit calling her she.
Sorry. He talks about the LGBT at some point in this. Bailey ended her confession by saying there needs to be more support for the LGBTQ community. Literally just excusing the murder of her parents. His parents, excuse me, and now she's going to jail for 2 consecutive life sentences.
Yeah. How dare you let me kill my parents for the crazy that already existed in my head, i.e., me feeling like I'm a woman even though I have male anatomy. Okay. Did you see how I censored myself?
I
there?
did.
So
I know you wanted to say it.
I wanted to say it. I wanted to say the strong words here because this is so ridiculous. Two parents lost their lives here, or she just killed the mom, or she killed the
both
dad
too.
Them. She killed them both. So she killed her parents. I said I'm catching myself here. This dude kills his parents because he needed to close this chapter of his life, and he wants to be housed in a female prison. That's another thing that pisses me off. Just because you're a dude with male anatomy and you say you're a woman, why should you be allowed to go into this woman's prison? We've seen countless examples of how they are allowed to do that, and they go in there and they rape women, okay? And you're like, okay, well, who could have foreseen that, right? Rapes already happen in prison, and now you've got people of the opposite gender. That rape is going to be even more prevalent. Or this person is going to be just running around and having sexual relations with all these women who haven't seen a man in 12 years. I don't care that it's of an effeminate man. And so we get all this ridiculousness, and they say, well, if you put them in a male prison, they're going to be raped due to their femininity. Are you trying to say that there can't be precautions put in place, such as solitary confinement? And, well, that's cruel and all that. What about the women who went for, bank fraud or something, some white collar crime, and they all of a sudden get raped because the prison system and the state that they're in allows this dude to go in there? I'm over it, man.
It's insane. Eric Hankins, appreciate you being on the show, sir.
Great to be part of the conversation, fellas.
Rob Spencer, thank you.
I wish I was as rich as Eric. I'm just throwing that in there.
That's all the time we have for this edition of the show. We'll be back here tomorrow. I'll be back here tomorrow captaining the microphone solo. Want to give a shout-out to our sponsors, Red Vive Health, New Horizon Real Estate, Gateway Sight and Sound, Pet Club 24/7, Sherrod Chiropractic. Thanks so much for watching. And
thanks, everybody.
See you tomorrow.